Well, good afternoon from the Monsanto Learning Center. My name is Brian Olson, manager of the site. And today I'm out here with Carl Coburn, Weed Management TDR, and we're looking at some of Carl's plots. And you know, weed control in soybeans is critically important, and there's been a lot of discussions about soybean weed control. So Carl, what are we looking at right now?
So what we're looking at here is a plot that hasn't had any treatments on it for weed control. So these plots were planted about 27 days ago, and the plots that had treatments were sprayed 27 days ago. So here's what a plot looks like when you don't have any residual herbicides down and no effective burn down options at planting or applications at planting. And so this is a non-treated plot, and you can see the kochia is really tall in there, and the Palmer amaranth is coming through very strong. And when you think about soybeans, it's really critical to keep them weed free early in the season so they can get through some time without any competition, and then we can come through with a post option. But right here you can see that there's a lot of competition going on, and they're not having any weed free time to start growing.
Yeah, you really do have a good population of weeds over here.
Yeah, good strong pressure of Palmer amaranth and kochia as well.
Yeah, okay, so now we're coming over here to this next plot, and looks like we've got a little bit less pressure. Maybe the kochia not as tall, the pigweeds aren't quite as far along. So what happened in this plot?
So here's an example where we had an effective burn down at planting. So you can see the kochia has really been taken out. There's not a lot of kochia here, but there was no residual herbicide here. So you can see the Palmer amaranth coming through just fine. It really looks like a non-treated plot where you don't have any residual down at planting.
So all the Palmer in this plot have come up in the last 27 days is what you're saying?
Correct.
So when we're looking at in the future, what do we think that this plot's going to look like 10 days from now?
Well, you can see most of this Palmer is probably less than 4 inches tall, but we're getting to the point in the season where you start to see exponential growth of that species in particular. So it's going to really start taking off, and you can get growth as fast as, you know, at least an inch per day.
So with our dicamba tolerant soybeans, this would be a great time to get a post application out of our XtendiMax with Vapor Grip, correct?
That is correct. You just got to make sure you're staying on top of your field, and if you go look at the field and the Palmer amaranth is maybe 3 inches tall, you don't want to give it too much longer because it'll be greater than that 4-inch weed height very fast.
Okay, and then what do we have over here?
So here we have a plot where we had an effective burn down at planting, as well as a residual herbicide. So you can see the kochia that was there at planting was burned down effectively, and then the residual is holding back the Palmer amaranth. So we've had a little over 6 inches of rain since planting, and again we're at 27 days after planting and application. So a few Palmer plants are starting to poke through, but this is night and day compared to the last two examples.
Yeah, and so, you know, for those folks that might think they'll put out an early post application, back to what you're saying, we've had quite a bit of rain here lately, and if they were thinking about going in there on that post application, they could get behind really fast. The residual here gives some flexibility. We're suppressing those weeds out there. I'm seeing very little Palmer amaranth. I'm seeing some grasses out there, but really not seeing much broadleaves. And those broadleaves, as we know, we've got resistant kochia, we got resistant Palmer amaranth, resistant water hemp. Those are weeds that we've got to get on top of and have some effective weed control measures. And obviously, having a strong residual down early looks like this plot in particular started off on the right foot. So when we're looking at again this Palmer. So this Palmer right here is looking like it is just about in that 2.5 to 3 inch stage. How tall would you expect this to be a week from now?
A week from now, I would expect at least it will double in height.
Yeah, so we're looking anywhere from 6 to 8 inches, and realistically, that's going to be off the target of where we want to be when we're applying our early post applications to control this weed. So there's a lot of plots out here. I assume you're going to be spraying in the next couple days here to control these weeds. But again, we just wanted to show you the value again versus the untreated check here versus an early burn down with no residual, and then here we've got a strong residual program, and that burn down did a nice job giving us a lot of flexibility out there. So any final thoughts, Carl?
Using a residual really helps take the selection pressure off of your post-emergence product. So the more we can incorporate different modes of action of residual products, the fewer plants you're exposing to that post-emerge application, and a better resistance management strategy you're incorporating overall.
Okay, and again, this research is being done out at the Learning Center in Gothenburg, Nebraska, and so we look forward to talking to you in the future about other agronomic topics. Thank you.
This video was produced by the Monsanto Water Utilization Learning Center.